Hello, football fans, and welcome to Week 4 of Inside the Eagles Nest. As always, I'm Kevin Tosh. Alongside me, Justin Hall. And Justin, Week 3 of the football season in the books. Franklin County coming away with a heartbreaking 31-24 loss in overtime to the Salem Spartans.
Yeah, Kevin, not many people expected Franklin County to even reach overtime with the Spartans, but Franklin County came out, played their hearts out, had a couple players get injured during the game, which is definitely heartbreaking. And, the Eagle fans showed up, and just cheered their hearts out. It was a great atmosphere on a Friday night.
Definitely a breakout game for the first-year quarterback, Christian Witcher. Really put the team on his back. 22 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, longest carry at 38 yards. So really only one other ball carry for Franklin County. That's Jalen Gill, even broke into double-digit in rushing.
Oh, yeah. Devin Clements had a couple nice runs, too, before he injured what appeared to be his ankle. But, yeah, Christian Witcher took that team, put it on his back, and the team didn't go unless Christian Witcher was taking them there. Had a beautiful pass to Ray Richard that accounted for 80 yards of it for a touchdown. Amazing. Got great loft on the ball, hit him right in the hands. It was a pretty play.
Witcher also 2 of 7 for 121 yards, both passes to Ray Witcher. Like you said, the longest 84 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. But like you said, really a big coming out game for the senior quarterback.
Yeah, he definitely tried to force the ball a couple times there, so he's still got a lot to learn on the pass in front. He took a bulk load of the carries with the fullback being out. Hope he's back next week with his shoulder. Definitely need Chance Tyree out there.
Also carrying the ball for Franklin County, like you said, Devin Clements, 6 carries, 64 yards. He had 50 of those on 1 carry. Jalen Gill, 10 carries, 25 yards. E.J. Harris, 6 carries for 23 yards. Jonathan Altis, 4 carries for 5 yards. Kickoff returns, Ray Witcher had 4 for 103 yards. Longest one was a 41-yard return. And Thomas Church had 1 return for 13 yards. E.J. Harris, 1 punt return for 4 yards. And Jonathan Saunders, 3 punts, 121 yards. It's a 40-yard average. So he's also come on strong here in the past 3 games.
Oh, definitely. That's what's going to help Franklin County with their offense. They gave him a chance to pin Salem deep. Defense came up huge a lot, pinning Salem deep. I can't say enough about how well the Eagles played. I wish it was a different outcome, but really, Eagles played with their hearts out. Great game.
That was 48 carries, 251 yards for Franklin County. 2 of 7 through the air, 121 yards. That's 372 yards total offense. 6 penalties for 30 yards. Had 3 fumbles, didn't lose any of them, so they only had 1 turnover on the night. Really costly was 3 for 12 on third downs. Not able to convert those. They were in a lot of third and long situations.
And a lot of those third and long conversions were hindered by penalties. Now, Franklin County needs to get down, they need to get set, and they got to stay set until the height comes in. But a lot of false starts. I know Doomed was there at the end of the game, and we can't sit there and say we would have won the game without those penalties, but really put us in a lot of third and long situations instead of the 3rd and 2s we should have been having.
They were 2 for 5 on 4th down conversion. That's a really good average. And they had almost 29 minutes time of possession. Going over to Salem, they had 29 carries for 190 yards. They were 13 of 19. That's Matt Hill through the air with no interceptions for 138 yards, 328 yards total offense. They had 7 penalties for 65 yards, uncharacteristic of a Salem team. They had 1 fumble that they lost. They only had 1 punt. They were 1 of 5 on 3rd down and 0 for 1 on 4th down. And they had 1 interception for 22 yards. And they had 31 points in 20 minutes time of possession. So Franklin County, all in all, did a really good job as far as the defense went.
Oh, definitely. They started off a little sluggish. They inserted Tyler Toon into the game. He clogged up that middle and really forced Salem to hit the outsides and those slants over the middle, which Franklin County, probably Salem can run and play right now, and Franklin County will still give up 15 yards. But, that's high school football.
That's right. Tyler Toon came in and put that big paw on the football and was able to force the fumble. Lead Jonathan Altis fell on the fumble, but that was early in the game, and that was a really big turning point early in the game. But just recapping the scoring for Franklin County, Christian Witcher had a 3-yard run in the first quarter, 16-yard run in the second quarter. Ray Witcher on the 84-yard reception from Christian Witcher in the third quarter, and Ethan Powers with a 23-yard field goal to send it in overtime. It wasn't necessarily the prettiest kick, but it had plenty of distance, and it was really accurate.
Went through the uprights. That's all that matters. I mean, nobody was showing the highlights of it on Channel 7 or Channel 10 or Channel 13. Truth of the matter was, it gave us an opportunity to go to overtime. Franklin County didn't show out in overtime, and Salem won the game.
And really, the toughest thing for Franklin County on this night is they weren't able to stop the pass. They were able to make the tackle as soon as the ball was caught, but they were playing really loose on defense, not wanting to give up the big play, and that really cost them in the end.
And, I mean, they never tackled either. I mean, they stopped him. There was a couple of times, E.J. Harris got him, held him so somebody else can come tackle the ball, but there was a lot of arm tackling going on. And with Salem and those big boys, that never works.
There were a lot of times when the safeties and cornerbacks would even be in on the running plays. They would hit the either Isaiah Harris or any of the multitude of backs, Payne. They would hit him at the line of scrimmage, but like you said, the physicality of Salem, they were able to break through that tackle, and that was really the difference in the game. Like we said, Salem advancing to 2-0 on the season, Franklin County dropping to 1-2. They're going to look to rebound this week as they return home to take on the Magna Vista Warriors, a team that they lost to last year, but Magna Vista has definitely lost a lot of players from last year. And unless you have anything else to say about the Salem game.
No, let's get rid of that Salem game.
Alrighty, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back, and we're going to preview the Franklin County game against Magna Vista this Friday night. Welcome back to Inside the Eagles Nest. We just wrapped up the Salem game, and we want to put that one behind us. Franklin County dropping to 1-2. They're going to look to rebound this week, and they're going to return under the lights at Cy Dillon Stadium, Fred M. Brown Field, against the Magna Vista Warriors, a team that beat them 28-26 last year. But Justin, they have to replace a ton of players on both sides of the football.
Oh, most importantly, I mean, everybody remembers Harvey Taylor. He carved us up. He spit us out. He served us for dinner and breakfast and lunch and gave us Christmas presents last year. He was everything billed for. I mean, his first college football game, he scores a touchdown in it as a true freshman at Old Dominion. I mean, kid was a heck of a ball player, still is a heck of a ball player, and I'm glad he is no longer a Magna Vista Warrior.
That's right, and for the third week out of 4 weeks in this football season, Franklin County defense is going to face another spread offense. Coach Joe Favero has 3 straight Piedmont District championships, coming off a 10-0 season last year. They're 2-1 at this point in the season. They let me see here. They lost to Heritage 44-30. They had a win over Moorhead, North Carolina, 48-16. And then last week they had a 14-6 win over William Fleming that really gave the Magna Vista Warriors a little bit of a scare. But, things are starting to look up for Franklin County in this game.
Oh, definitely. I mean, of course, Harvey Taylor's not there. Things have got to look up for Franklin County. Franklin County's coming off that hard-fought loss against Salem. Going to see more of a spread-type offense. Salem lined up in the I formation a lot last week, and we just need to get our ends and our safeties and backs ready to blitz them and not let them get 10 yards per catch like we did against Salem.
And their main skill position player for the Magna Vista Warriors, Keon Mabin. He's a running back. We saw him last season. He played safety, switched over, and he's still going to play safety this year. He's going to play running back, and he's going to get most of the carries. He's a power runner. He doesn't have the speed that you would expect out of a Magna Vista back, but he's a big power back, and he's going to see at least 80% of the snaps during the entirety of the game. His only break is on special teams. And when you talk about the special teams for this Magna Vista Warrior unit, that's one of their strong points. They have Bryce Hankins, wide receiver and kick returner. They've had 3 football games this year, and in each of those games, he's returned a kickoff for a touchdown.
I mean, when you talk about intangibles, that's huge. I mean, Franklin County used to have Ronnie Edwards and Patrick Preston and LeBron Patterson back there returning kicks that every time they touched the ball, they had that legitimate threat. And that changes a lot up on the kicking team. Is Franklin County going to squib it every time? Are we going to try to purposely kick it out of bounds and give them the ball at the 40? Or are we actually going to man up and we're going to kick it to them? A lot of decisions to be made.
And last week in the William Fleming game with Magna Vista, William Fleming actually kicked the ball off out of bounds. And in high school football, that's a win for the receiving team. They usually take the ball and go with it. But Coach Joe Favero made William Fleming line up and kick it off again. And that's when Bryce Hankins returned it 74 yards for the touchdown. So that's really, like you said, that's an intangible that you can't teach. He has, immense speed. His brother also plays. He's a wide receiver. And quarterback in this team is going to be Callan Jamison. And he's a junior. He's going to be taking over, filling the big shoes of Harvey Taylor. And like we said, they're replacing 10 players on offense. Bryce Hankins saw a little bit of action in half the season, so really they're replacing 9 starters. But still, that's a ton of starters. They're only returning players on the offensive line. and they also had to replace 4 offensive linemen like Franklin County. Go over to the defensive side of the ball, they're replacing 8 players on the defensive side of the ball. You know, Keon Mabin's one of the only returners for the defensive side.
I mean, that's scary for Joe Favero coming through here. You know, Magna Vista always reloads. I mean, they've set themselves out as a legitimate AA threat. They knocked Salem off in the playoffs last year, and it wasn't close. But, I mean, it's tough to lose that many players at start and try to field a team, especially this early in the season against a big AAA team like Franklin County.
Their only loss last season was in the second round of the playoffs to a really strong, like we saw, Christiansburg Blue Demon team. But they kind of got a little bit of boost on the defensive side. 2 players from Carlisle transferred when Carlisle decided to drop the football program, and cornerback Colton Akers and outside linebacker Malik Adams. So that was a boost to the defensive side. And as far as the rest of the special teams go, we have Josh Warren. We saw him last year. He's returning as a place kicker. And they also have the Co-Piedmont District Boys Soccer Player of the Year. Their goalie from the Magna Vista Warriors team, Kobe Johnson, stepping up to do the punting duties for the Magna Vista Warriors.
Franklin County can tell you, I mean, soccer players make great punters. I mean, Franklin County's got Saunders this year that's putting the heck out of the ball, 40-yard average last week. So, I mean, I can't hate on a soccer player. I played it myself.
So, what is Franklin County going to have to do this week to stop Magna Vista in their spread offense?
Franklin County is going to have to play Franklin County football. They're going to get that Magician's offense, the wing tee, and they're going to work it, and they're going to run the ball 50 times like we saw against Fleming. Unless Coach Jones comes through and decides he wants to work on Christian Witcher's passing game, which by all means would be amazing. But I think Franklin County should win this one going away, judging by just a lack of starters and the talent coming back on Magna Vista.
What about Magna Vista? What do you? They're going to the keys for the game to be this week.
Magna Vista is going to have to let their defense step up and force turnovers. I mean, with the wing tee offense, there's a lot of handoffs going off. There's a lot of trickeration, a lot of misdirection. If they can get their hand in the ball and get Franklin County to fumble the ball each time, I mean, of course, Franklin County can't move the ball for fumbling each time, but that's going to be huge for them to try to get some early breaks in the game and force Franklin County to pass. Flipping it over, Kevin, what is Franklin County going to have to do to win the game?
I think Franklin County is going to have to step up on defense. The defensive line, they've been playing pretty good football. Linebackers, I think, have really stepped up and they've matured a lot. And they've been
star of the defense.
The secondary. That's what's given Franklin County trouble. Especially, they played really good against a somewhat weak William Fleming team, but they still had to stop E.T. Morrisow. They did a good job shutting him down. Woodbridge really exposed the secondary. And then last week, Salem really exposed them. They need to not be afraid to give up the big play. E.J. Harris, Jalen Gill, Thomas Church, Bubba Henderson. You say those 4 names, those are 4 good defenders. Those are 4 guys that can cover down the football field. They need to not be scared to get beat deep, because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to get beat deep. They need to have confidence in themselves, jam those receivers at the line of scrimmage, and force them to play football. Don't let them play pitch and catch with their quarterback. And I think that's going to be the key to this football game for Franklin County.
All right, and Magna Vista. What does Magna Vista have to do to be like last year and beat the Franklin County Eagles?
I think that Magna Vista is going to have to be creative in the ways they score. You know, we've talked about returning the kickoff for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. We haven't really talked about returning punts for a touchdown, forcing a fumble, returning it for a touchdown, intercepting, pick 6, taking it back for a touchdown. I think those types of scores is what Magna Vista needs to key in on, especially against this Franklin County team, because I don't believe that they're going to be able to line up in their spread offense and go straight at this Franklin County football team. So I think they're going to have to be creative in the way they score, which is kind of a crazy thing to say, but I think that's what it's going to take.
I mean, going up against the bigger team in Franklin County, they're going to have to find ways other than the traditional ways to score. I mean, it makes perfect sense, especially with the players that they have coming back. And the lack of Harvey Taylor. I mean, I can't express that enough last year. Last year, we were not on the Harvey Taylor bandwagon. We saw it firsthand. And, I mean, I know I jumped on it before the game was over with. The game ended under some pretty harsh circumstances for Franklin County, but I won't bring that up anymore. But there you have it, folks. Hope you join us. It's 7:30, right?
It's a 7 o'clock game. No more 7:30 games this year.
That's weird. I'm still confused from last week. I was sitting in the stadium, and it was 6:50, and I'm like, where's everybody at? But I guess the game was at 7:30 last week. But there you go. Guys, I'm Justin Hall. You can follow me on Twitter at JustinHall04. Of course, it's Kevin Tosh, FC Insider. He's the man in Franklin County sports. And we'll see you next week.